Hey guys, today I really wanted to go over the definition of sequence, and series will come later. I know some of you guys already researched what sequence and series is, and that's okay. That's for your benefit. But let's really go over what sequence means, and we'll look at some sequence. We looked at some, and it was painful. I get it. And I will never do that to you guys again. It was just an experiment and see if you would like it or not. So please don't think I'm going to torture you every day. So here's the definition of sequence. If you want to look up on the book, you're fine. But to me, what sequence means is set of numbers in a particular order. So I can write that down. Set of numbers. I need to get a better pen. In a particular order. C-U-L-A-R. Can I make that any smaller? No, that doesn't work. Okay. Particular order. Sequences, set of numbers in a particular order or pattern if you want to write them down. So for example, my example that I'm going to give you, you saw it yesterday, some patterns that you saw and you're like, oh, this is too easy, Miss Cox. So one was -3, that was the first one, 2, 7, and 12. Okay, so those are my patterns, and each of these numbers are called terms or term. So -3 is a term, 2 is a term, 7 is a term, and 12 is a term. So that's basically my vocab. So any of these numbers are called terms. Now, when I look at this, I'm gonna go ahead and go over one thing right here. I want to look at the difference between each term. So the first term is -3. What was the difference between the first term and the second term? Apparently, and you can easily tell that we added 5 from each term to the next. So we added from 2 to 7, and we also added 5 from 7 to 12. Okay, so this was one of the easy ones that you can kind of look at. And let's go over a couple more vocabs. Now, I'm going to go to a new page, and we're still going to look at the same patterns, and I'm going to go ahead and write it up here again so we'll have it for the rest of the time. So we have -3, 2, and it was 7, and 12. So we did look at the terms, so each of these are terms. And I want to emphasize one thing. The difference between each one of these were we added 5. Remember that? We added 5 on each one of these. And these differences right here are called common difference. Common difference. So those are called common difference. It really is kind of common sense. Get it? Haha, common difference, common sense. So that's not that bad. Another thing that I wanted to emphasize on this was this new terminology that we have to get used to. And it's called, we're just naming the term. So first term, so I'm going to kind of draw the line so you know that I'm doing a little bit of new things. So first term was -3. So our first term, we're gonna denote our first term as a sub 1. And you read this, how do you think we're gonna read this? You read this as a sub 1. So that on your in computers you have superscript and subscript, and it's on the bottom, and it's a smaller number, so it's sub. So a sub 1. So what do you think the second term is called? The second term is called ace of 2. How fancy. Not bad. So I think those are one of those things that you can kind of take it and run with it. If you ever see anyone refer to the terms as T sub 1 and T sub 2 and T sub n, that's fine. It's just another way of saying it. But our book uses a sub 1, so I'm just gonna keep the notations with the book. Now I'm gonna go ahead and keep looking at the same pattern, just because I think that's gonna be easy on y'all too, instead of looking at 15 different ones. So this right here, I have a couple more to go over, and we'll be done with our little vocab for the today. So we have this sequence, and if I just stop right here, so here's the sequence right here, and those are little brackets. This would be called a finite sequence. Let me write that down for you. Finite sequence. That means there are a limited number of terms. It doesn't go forever, but there are limited terms. Now, ooh, let's not do that. Let's not do that. This is freaking out. Stop. So I'm just gonna draw a little line. But here's a little difference. If you had -3, 2, 7, 12, and you see this little dot going on, at this point, this would be your infinite or infinite. Infinite sequence. Why? Because it goes on forever. Infinitely many. There's infinite without end. Alright, and I really think this should help you. This is basically the terminologies and notations for sequence, and I don't think this was a bad activity. And we went over a few things. I'm just gonna highlight those things that we learned. One was we learned the definition of sequence. We learned what the common difference was. And we learned, what else did we learn? We learned what term means. And we learned how to note ace of 1, ace of 2, and it just keeps on going, right? If it's infinite. And we also had finite and infinite series. Finite and infinite. So as far as the terminology goes, that's pretty much it. Yes, this is only a certain type of sequence, but we didn't go in depth. I'm not going to going in depth of arithmetic and geometric sequence in this video. Look at the next video for more of that. But as far as terminology goes, this should really help you. So please let me know if there's any questions. You know how to reach me. Email me. If you do not have a Gmail, you should make one now. Okay? So, see y'all soon.